Well, the election is over and Canadians have chosen Mark Carney and the Liberals to lead the country for the next 4 years. Now, some may see this as a victory and some may see it as a defeat, but as I see it, we've simply gotten through our first battle, and it remains to be seen which of those is more accurate. Now, after all, the next few years of dealing with the Trump administration while navigating our own internal needs, things like cost of living, housing, international trade, etc., will be an even more difficult task than getting elected was. By the way, watch this video through to the end so that you'll get to see 5 big things that Carney and the Liberals have pledged to Canadians. So what Canadians have done is managed to set ourselves up with what and who we hope is our best bet for the years ahead. Now, time will tell if our choice is warranted. As for dealing with Trump, Prime Minister Carney says that Canada deserves respect from the U.S. and that he will only enter trade and security talks with the President on our terms. Now, I take that to mean that the 51st state rhetoric and the blustering, name-calling, and derogatory language from the U.S. President must stop before we'll negotiate with him. Now, as for our domestic needs, Carney and the Liberals have pledged a few things. As an aside, my observation of the previous Liberal government is that much was promised, not all was delivered, and what was provided didn't really seem to be complete in its creation. But I digress, sorry. It is our task as citizens to hold this new government accountable for creating and finishing what they said they would do. Okay, let's have a quick look at the five things that are being promised. First, Carney's victory speech included the phrase, quote, "build, baby, build," unquote. Obviously, that's a healthier take on Trump's drill, baby, drill. Carney told supporters that, quote, "it's time to build twice as many homes every year with an entirely new housing industry using Canadian technology, Canadian skilled workers, and Canadian lumber," close quote. Carney hopes to provide 500,000 new homes a year by creating a standalone federal entity that would act as a developer for affordable housing. The intent is to offer tens of billions of dollars in debt financing for prefabricated home builders. Okay, second, some tax cuts and benefits. It's expected that there'll be a slight tax cut for those in the lowest bracket, down from 15% to 14%. So not a big deal, but it is something for those who really need it. They will also drop the sales tax on homes under $1 million for first-time home builders or home buyers, And the Canadian dental care plan is to be expanded to include 4.5 million people aged 18 to 64. That's a huge jump. Third, a national electricity grid. So what is being promised here is to build a national east to west electricity grid to reduce energy dependence on the U.S. Now, the intent is keeping the effort to reduce emissions while keeping Canadian companies competitive. So this started with the repealing of the consumer carbon tax, thus lowering prices at the pump. However, they will maintain a similar tax on the large carbon emitters. Now, another thing Carney said in his victory speech, and again, quote, "It's time to build Canada into an energy superpower in both clean and conventional energy," close quote. Fourth, a massive hike in defense spending. Now, this has been a contentious matter for a number of years now, but Carney says this government will raise defense spending to 2% of Canada's GDP, the target rate for all NATO members. And he wants to do this by 2030 by moving defense spending back home and away from the US. The intent for the next 4 years is to see $18 billion spent on new equipment like submarines and heavy icebreakers that can be used in Canada's north. And fifth, boosting domestic trade and car making. Now, Carney promises to improve interprovincial territorial trade by removing regulatory obstacles. Now, he calls it the new, again I quote, trade and energy corridors working in partnership with the provinces, territories, and Indigenous peoples, close quote. He also expects to see a greater all-in-Canada network for vehicle parts, so more manufacturing will happen within Canada. Now, they also want to invest $5 billion in things like national ports, railways, roads, and other infrastructure. Now, the idea here is to help Canada further diversify its trading partners and thus, again, have less dependency on the US. So there you have it in a nutshell. Look, feel free to come back to this channel and remind yourself of these promises and join me in staying in contact with your MP to remind them of these promises and that we expect to see them being worked on from day one, not just before the next election. So if you found this video helpful, do me a favor and like and share it with others. Then subscribe to my channel. Oh, and yes, click the bell so you get notified when new videos are uploaded. And in the meantime, stay safe and enjoy your day. I'm wishing you peace, health, and harmony. And elbows up, Canada. Bye for now.